Hi, and welcome to Mrs. Pam Reads. We are continuing in The Magic Circle by Katherine Neville. And in our last video, the previous video, Katherine had discovered that Sam was alive. So this video, she's talking to him, and they're trying to figure out a place to meet. And then her boss calls her in and tells her that she's going to meet this very strikingly handsome man that she briefly saw in Russia for an assignment, which is most inconvenient for her getting together with Sam. But she is now about to meet Sam at the No Name Cowboy Bar. That's what it says, headed for the No Name Cowboy Bar. All right, so let's see what happens. The dark wood, oh shoot. I lost where I was going to stop. Okay, we'll figure it out. The dark wood interior was steeped in beer and smoke. The jukebox was, ugh. Wow, it's going to be one of those days. The jukebox was playing. I arrived about 25 minutes early, sat at a table near the wall phone, ordered a Virgin Mary, and waited. Finally, the phone jingled. I was on my feet and grabbing it by the end of the first ring. Ariel. Sam's voice sounded relieved when I answered the phone. I've been crazy since the funeral, wanting to explain everything, to let you know what's happened, what this is all about. But first, are you all right? I think I'm recovering, I told him. I don't know whether I want to laugh or cry. I'm hysterical with joy that you're alive, but I'm furious that you put all of us, especially me, through all that S word. Right now, I have to take your word for it that you really had to pretend you were dead. Who else knows about this but me? Nobody can know about me just now, but you, said Sam, his voice tight as a guitar string. We're in tremendous danger if anyone else learns I'm alive. What's this we, paleface? I quoted Tonto's reply to the Lone Ranger when they found themselves surrounded by hostile Apache. Ariel, I'm serious. You're in more danger right now than I am myself. I was so afraid you wouldn't come directly back to Idaho, that you'd go off somewhere to be alone and you wouldn't get the package. After I found out your phone was tapped and your car had been ransacked, I kept praying that you'd had the presence of mind to put it somewhere safe. The waitress was scooping her tip from the table and raising her eyebrows to inquire if I wanted a refill. I shook my head and said to Sam on the other end, I don't understand. I was afraid I did, though. When the waitress was out of earshot, I added in a hoarse whisper, what package? The line was stony silent for a moment. I could feel the tension over the line. When Sam finally did speak, his voice was trembling. Don't tell me you didn't get it, Ariel, he said. Please, God, don't tell me that. I had to get rid of it, and fast, before the funeral. You were the only one I could think of that I could rely on completely. I tossed it in a mailbox addressed to you. I sent it third-class parcel post. I was sure no one would ever imagine anything as overt or bald-faced as that, sending it by common mail. I hoped you'd get back just after it arrived, that it would be waiting in the post office for you. How could you not have received it unless maybe you haven't gone yet to pick up your mail? Holy S word, Sam, I whispered. What have you done to me? What did you send me in the mail? Not my inheritance, I hope. Did anyone mention it during the funeral? He asked, whispering back as if someone were listening on the line. Anyone? I had to throttle my voice. It was read aloud in the will. Augustus and Grace gave a press conference. The news media have been telephoning trying to find it. Uncle Lapp is flying here from Austria. Are those enough anyone's for you? My throat was getting raw from this full blast wind tunnel whispering. I couldn't believe what had happened to my recently calm, well-organized life, which now looked like confetti. I couldn't believe Sam was alive and that I wanted to kill him. Ariel, please, said Sam. His voice sounded as if he were pulling his hair. Did you pick up your mail or not? Is there any possible explanation we can think of why you haven't, he choked a little, seen the package? I felt sick to my stomach. It hadn't taken much to guess what must be in that parcel. Pandora's manuscripts. The manuscripts everyone was so hot to get a hold of. The manuscripts I had believed had gotten Sam killed. I forgot to stop my mail, I told Sam. I heard his sharp intake of breath at the other end, so I added irritably. I was a bit distraught. I had to attend the funeral of someone very close to me. I just forgot. So, it was in your mailbox all this time, said Sam, still whispering. Then where is it now? Terrific. It was in a pile of mush on my living room floor, or maybe buried in a 7-foot snowdrift. Then the image came back of me sinking in snow and tossing my mail up onto the road beneath my car. I pulled all the mail out of my mailbox when I got home last night, I told Sam, and I threw it inside on the floor. I didn't go through it last night. It's still lying there. My God, said Sam. If your line was bugged even before you got home, then it's positive that that place has been searched thoroughly by now, maybe more than once, but surely again since you left to come to work today. Ariel, I nearly got killed for that package, and your only insurance is if they believe you haven't received it yet. But I didn't think of your danger when I sent it to you. How sweet, I told him. Sort of like a chain letter where you're cursed with a thunderbolt and eternal damnation if you don't pass it on. You don't understand. We will be cursed, said Sam. I'd never heard this note of despair from him. His voice sank, and when he spoke, it was as if he were at the bottom of a well. It's so important, Ariel, not to let this fall into the wrong hands. It's more important than we are. More important than your life or mine. Pardon me, I said. Have you gone completely bonkers? What are you trying to tell me? I should put my life on the line for something I've never even seen, for something I don't even want to know about? It is part of you, and you are part of it, said Sam for the first time, becoming testy. And although I'm very, very sorry I involved you in this, Ariel, what has been done cannot be undone. You are the only one who can find this parcel, and I'm telling you that you must. If you fail, the lives at stake won't just be ours, I assure you. I had no idea what to do. I just wanted it all to go away. I wanted to hide under the bed and suck my thumb, but I tried to pull myself together. Okay, let's start from scratch. What did this parcel look like? I asked Sam. He seemed to be trying to focus his own thoughts. His words were brittle. It was about the size of a couple reams of paper, he said. Wow, that's great. There was nothing like that in my mailbox. I knew because I had been holding all my mail in one hand when I'd started drowning in snow, and I was able to toss everything up on the road as I sank. There's only one explanation, I told Sam. Parcel hasn't arrived yet. That gives us some kind of reprieve, but not for long, said Sam gloomily. It may come today, and you're not at home, but very likely they are. Or at least they'll be keeping an eye on the house. I longed to know who they were, but I wanted to get the basics down first. I could stop the mail now, today, I began, but Sam interrupted. Too suspicious. Then they'd know it was coming by post. As I said, it's my opinion they won't touch you until they're positive you have the parcel, or they have it themselves, or they know for sure how it's going to arrive. So for the moment, you're okay. I suggest you go home at the normal time and check the mail casually, the way you usually would. I'll try to get a message to you somehow, but to be on the safe side, I'll phone you here again tomorrow at the same time. Roger, I said, but if you need to reach me quicker, my computer address is abin@nukesite. You can encrypt the message any way you want. Just give me a clue in another message what it might be, okay? And Sam, Uncle Lapp is flying in this weekend. I'm going to meet him at the Sun Valley Lodge. He said he was going to tell me the history of my inheritance. That should be extremely interesting coming from Lapp. Take good notes, Sam said. My father was always pretty close-mouthed about family history, same as yours was. Then, too, if you're staying at the lodge, maybe we can shake your watchers and meet up on the mountain. We both know it like our palms. That's a great idea. I'm afraid my roommate and my cat are coming too, I told him. But no matter what, we'll figure a way, assuming we live that long. God, Sam, I'm happy you're around. I seemed unable to yank myself from this umbilical connection of sound, though I saw the waitress approaching my table again, and I knew I must. Likewise, hotshot, said Sam. I hope we're both going to be around for a very, very long time. And again, sweetheart, please forgive me. I had to do things this way. Time will tell, I told him. I just prayed there'd be enough of it left for both of us, at least enough to get our hands on Pandora's deadly files. Oliver had to work late to catch up enough to take off for the weekend for skiing. So I dropped by the grocery store to pick up a steak and fixings for Jason's and my dinner. It was dark by the time I got home, but the moon was out amid drifting clouds, and enough snow had blown off that I could almost make out the drive. I got out and threw some salt and gravel on the rest. Then I pulled my car in and let Jason out into the dappled darkness to check out the snow. After putting away the groceries, I hiked up the drive as casually as possible to check my mailbox. I could hear Sam's voice in my mind telling me to behave normally, though my heart was thudding. I was mindlessly watching Jason jumping around on the crusted snow, still covering the sloping lawn. I was praying to find it waiting up there, no matter what dire consequences might result, just to put an end to the clammy terror I felt whenever I thought of it. As I pulled the mail from the box, scudding clouds suddenly effaced the moonlight, drowning the road in darkness. But just by feel, I knew there was no large package. My heart sank. This meant another suspense-riddled day ahead, and perhaps another and another after that, with my life and Sam's both in danger until we could get our hands on that package. But now it would be 1,000 times worse, since I was no longer in ignorant bliss. I was at that precise instant. Oh, the flashbulb exploded in my brain. I was like, somebody's taking her picture? No, the flashbulb exploded in my brain. I knew what was wrong with this picture. No one had taken that mysterious package of Sam's. It had never been in my mailbox and never could be. My mailbox was smaller than even one ream of paper. And since the snows had prevented anyone reaching my door to leave a parcel, as I discovered myself only last night, it meant my postman had been unable to deliver it at all. When that happened, He'd left a little yellow postal slip notifying me to call the main branch during office hours to pick up the parcel myself. Whoever Sam's professionals happened to be, I knew that even a criminal or a spy wouldn't be fool enough to stand out here in the open road in a rural area like this, where everybody knows his neighbor, just waiting to rifle through my mailbox for a yellow slip of paper, especially if he had no inkling that the valuable item would come by uninsured parcel post. Even if someone had found this postal slip, would he try to claim the parcel at the post office? It would be taking a huge risk in a town this size, where a stranger trying to call for somebody else's mail would not only be remembered, but probably questioned right on the spot. We Idahoans are naturally suspicious strangers. If the package had indeed arrived, the yellow slip of paper could still be in the damp pile of mail in my house, where it could have been found if they searched this afternoon. Even if I didn't find the paper tonight, I could go to the post office when it opened first thing in the morning and collect the parcel myself, paper or none. I headed back to the house, today's mail in hand, intent on sorting through my entire week of soggy mail on the floor. But halfway down the drive, the clouds parted briefly, showering the snow-laden lawn with milky moonlight. I saw Jason sitting on the mound, whipped cream waves of snow out there, batting a leaf with his paw. Then I froze. It wasn't a leaf he was batting at. It was the corner of a yellow piece of paper buried half in the snow, blown perhaps from my tossed pile last night. It was right there in plain sight, yet hopelessly out of reach. The crust of that snow might be strong enough to support one small cat, but there was no way it could support 110 pounds of healthy girl Nuke. If I tried to cross to where Jason was playing with the paper, I'd crash through the crust and repeat last night's sinking experience. Nor could I clamp into my Nordic skis as I had last night if I was being watched. That would be even more obvious than leaping into phone booths. Sam would not approve. There was only one choice. I had to hope that Jason's obsession and talent for retrieving would work on something more than his little red rubber ball. Jason, fetch, I whispered as I crouched in the drive and reached my hand out. Jason looked at me and flicked his tail. The clouds closed in again, plunging us into darkness. I could still make out the outline of Jason's small black body against the stark white snow. But in this light, or lack of it, I could no longer see the paper. I prayed to God he wouldn't decide playfully to bury it, so I'd have to excavate the whole garden tomorrow to find it. That would be hard to do casually, as Sam had enjoined me, and worse yet than in the Nordic ski idea. Come on, Jason, I whispered a little louder, wondering whether my invisible snoopers were just across the road in the woods. I stood up, trying to act like an ordinary woman, calling her ordinary cat to dinner. I continued down the drive, not wanting to be overly suspicious. Besides, Jason himself would grow suspicious if I started acting too normal. He was accustomed to life in a highly eccentric milieu, M-I-L-I-E-U. Nevertheless, he got the message. Before I reached the back door, I felt him rubbing against my boots as he did when he wanted to be picked up. I crouched again in the inky darkness, yanked off my gloves, and took Jason's face in my hands so I could feel what I couldn't see. In his mouth was a bit of paper. I think we're going to stop there. Cliffhanger. Oops, sorry, on the table. All right, you guys, I am really enjoying this book. I hope you are too. We will continue and find out what's on the paper. I'm going to make the assumption that it's the package slip. That would be nice, right? I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time. Bye.